Unmute. Start video.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
That's my son. You can see. Say hi, Timmy.
Hello.
So last week we had a Lions meeting and a subcommittee meeting, and they said Zoom, but it wasn't Zoom. So I was sitting there trying to get on Zoom. So I guess Zoom is now for any. He's like a generic term like Kleenex.
Yeah.
You don't have to actually get them a Kleenex. They'll take a Scottish tissue or was something we were supposed to do tonight?
So I think we're still in on a couple people. There is somebody else here. I just added.
Because you got the email from uh, Nancy Clem Thompson or Linda Clem
Yes,
Thompson.
I saw. Yeah, I saw what you forwarded. Why isn't this working?
Oh. Here's Joe from ECAT.
Hi, Joe.
He's on mute. He's on mute. I'm eating a sandwich because I have to take my pills on time. So. You saw the town is going to do one of our sites, right?
Hey, Cindy. Yeah, Swiss Park, right?
Yep.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm eating because I have to take my pills on time.
That's okay.
I'm getting to be an old man.
Eat away.
I have to take my pills on time.
That's right. It's important.
I get it. When you're 15, you just take your pills. Not my age. If I don't take them on time, I'm in trouble.
Everything gets.
My dad, by the end, had so many. He used to put them on the kitchen counter, which was like one of those Florida ones where the kitchen, the living room, it's all one big room.
Yeah.
With the counter on top. He used to just take his pills and roll them across the counter in a big long line. And then during the day, every few hours, you just take a handful.
Okay. Well, I guess that's one way to do it. I'm surprised they haven't made them more in liquid form. It just seems like going through the whole process of breaking it down is hard on your system.
Or one pill that they know we're all taking.
Right.
Like they know that like everybody over 70 is taking a pill. Every guy is taking like diabetes, high blood pressure, and prostate. Okay, it's like with the kid shots now where they give you the the 3, the MMR.
Just give you one big dose.
Yeah, just one big horsey pill.
Yeah.
Put it in like an Egg McMuffin or something.
Right, or powder form, right, where you just drink it.
Yeah. Well, they make that Ensure. That's what they do with the vitamins. Yeah, so they can make like a.
Yeah, for vitamins. Like all my vitamins are like powdered form because I'm just like, oh, taking all those pills. Ugh. Not my bag.
The water treatment plants are all packed with those, right? The coatings. There's like millions of them.
They clog up. You test some water in certain places.
And the birth control pills too. The estrogen level.
Oh yeah,
it's toxic.
I wouldn't throw those away.
Because everybody goes to the bathroom and pees out all the vitamins and the.
I guess that makes sense.
And then it all builds up.
Yeah, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, but.
So I know Jonathan won't be on. Megan was gonna try to join from the car. She had her kids football game or like a championship game or something.
Yeah, there's a 5th grade championship. Never heard of it. Good idea.
And then we see Joe. Joe, are you there?
Do we expect Joe?
No, but it could just be somebody joining from the town.
Oh, so
Don't know.
ECAT runs the system?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
No, it
See the
wouldn't
name.
run the Zoom. Maybe it's a public.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Like somebody's at the library or something?
But
Or
why
some
not?
poor
We can
guy,
start.
or somebody's waiting for another meeting at the wrong, chose at the wrong meeting.
Oh, maybe
Could be.
maybe it's recording, so it's public. I don't know.
I was at the wrong booster meeting once at the high school for 20 minutes before they got to the topic of the sport. And I was like, my kid's not on this team. Thanks a lot. Then I had to find it down the hall. You know, I'm knocking on doors, you know.
So the Zoom meeting in the agenda ends with 17954, which is this one. And Megan had said it's the Zoom 4 account, so that's what I logged in with. So I think we're good to start.
Okay.
Does Joe want to say anything?
What if he stepped away?
I don't know. All right. I guess he doesn't.
If there's
If
actually a
it's
person,
to him, they might not. I don't know. Him or
this
her.
will only be, if there is a Joe, this is only the second person in all these years that ever shown up at a meeting that wasn't on the committee. But they make us post it like a week in advance as though there's like a plethora of people rolling through Easton saying, damn, I got to get onto that public spaces committee meeting today.
Right? Who wouldn't
I
want
hope,
to be here?
I hope that Frank doesn't ram through something without it letting us know again.
That's right.
Right? Or Bill. Maybe he just came here to watch you, Bill.
I'll ram stuff through if you let me.
All right. So we need we'll start the meeting here at 7:07. Good news is there's three of us. I think that's a quorum since there's
Is
only
that a
five of
quorum?
us.
I was going to ask. Is that enough?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Let's
because
get this party started then.
and I am still fighting this cold, so
Me
as good as
too.
I'm gonna sound.
It's all been for a week and a half. I feel it's lingering, but it'll get better.
Yeah, it's been like all month in our house between everybody.
Right? Passing it back and forth.
All right, so we'll start with the minutes from last meeting, which I can find those here.
I wasn't at the last meeting, so do I have a vote?
Yeah.
Yep. It's just to whoops. It's just to approve. I'm sorry, I'm having a computer issue. October 3rd minutes.
Oh, cool.
2 minutes. So it was 4 weeks ago we met.
Yep.
Rockery Price Estimate Garden Club. That's right. The Garden Club was on and went through this. These are the notes.
Yeah, basically what they said, Cindy, is it Cindy or Cynthia?
Cindy, yeah.
Was that it's a much bigger job than we thought because it's all overgrown.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing actually I should know is actually I'm the president of the Lions Club again.
Oh,
I
well,
don't think it's public yet, but we had 2 presidents resign in a row.
Oh.
And I've been drafted back in against my will. So your committee, Lions representative in this committee is now the president.
Okay. Well, we're there.
I'll become official on the 9th. Assuming
right.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Right.
Well,
Do we have to
sympathy, not.
bow or anything?
No, don't vow at all.
Okay. No.
But I will say that this is off the record, but the Lions Club, usually decorates the rockery.
Mm-hmm.
And the Garden Club mentioned taking out trees, retrimming trees.
No, we don't want to do any of that.
And
I saw the price tag on that, and we're like, no, there's no business that's going to cover that.
That was very unpopular the last time they did it. Apparently, Historic Commission said that it was supposed to go back to the way it originally was. But when they took all those trees out, people were pissed.
Oh yeah, I could see
And
that.
the Lions Club is looking next year to try to decorate the whole thing.
Okay. Well, maybe should we just leave the rockery alone then and try other spaces?
Oh no, I just think that we need to limit what the garden club wants to do and make it more reasonable. That cleaning
Right.
out
I
the
mean, we just
weeds.
want to put out some flowers and a sign, really.
I think Todd Sandstrom and Dick Voce, who was originally on the committee, Karen, they used to weed it out, so it does need to
Hmm.
be weeded. It's got some invasive plants there,
Right,
but
which is not our responsibility, though.
right,
That's
but
out
it's
of
something.
our scope.
But again, we could push somebody else to maybe doing it.
Yeah.
If we get
Hmm.
moving. But I think we
Yeah.
need to trim it down for the garden club and make it reasonable. Um, Now the guy, like the Lions Club, used to when we did the hot rockery cleanup. That's when we used to take most of the stuff out. We used to just climb all over it and rip everything out. Um, so maybe we could do maybe a fall cleanup or something there with them.
Right.
Get the garden club, us, the Lions. Maybe we can invite the Boy Scouts or something for the supervision and try to
Oh,
get
that's
some of the dirty
good.
work done. Because paying a
Hmm.
landscaper like $80 an hour to rip out, a plant is a bit silly.
Yes.
And I think if they
And
see,
go ahead.
no, just I think if they see people doing it, they might help out for free. That's what they
Yeah.
did on the cemetery cleanups we used to do. We did the cemetery committee, and which is kind of where this committee came from, was the Eastern Lions had a cemetery committee. We used to clean up the cemeteries.
Right.
And as soon as we did it, we got help. If we piled up the leaves, the landscapers would pick them up. The town would come by and pick them up. Um, and then the town said it was their job, and they started picking them up better. So the same things happen now with that, what the park down there that they're doing, Swift Park. It's on our list, and then people hear about it, and now the town's doing it. So, you know, as long as it gets done, I really don't care who does it.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't,
Well, we can't do it because we have no money, and I would,
right,
we wouldn't put that on any of the business owners.
right. But maybe the garden club and that person donating money, maybe they get some help and, like you said, pick it up, plant some flowers, improve it some. And then when people
Hmm.
see it being fixed up, they'll get back interested. Um, that's been
Or,
my.
or can we just take the rockery off and pick another spot?
Well, I think the donor wants the rockery, don't they?
Well, she does, but I mean, if it's going to cost her 10 grand, she doesn't, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
she was like $1,000, yeah, but 10 to 15 grand, no,
Yeah,
they're not going to do that. It's a small business here in Easton, right? So
yeah,
if the rockery's not available, she just wants to. The reason why she picked it was just a high traffic area.
right.
Um, and so if we can find something that's just as trafficy.
Well, I noticed it looked at the garden club dropped doing some of the intersections they were doing before. So maybe one of
Yeah.
those.
So before we get too far into it, we're just going to approve the minutes.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, cool. I put a motion to approve for Bill. Cindy 3-0.
Yep.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then basically kind of picking up where what you guys were just talking about. I agree. 10 to 15,000 is a lot of money.
No one's going to pay that right now. I don't.
Right. So
and I guess here's another question, and I'm bummed that I wasn't there last week. The question is it what they want to do, or what can be the basic? Yeah, there's invasives that need to be removed. Who's in charge of keeping that property maintained, at least at a basic level? Is that DPW?
It's the town, so.
yeah, I don't know currently who's doing it.
So, I mean, we just want to throw some nice plants there and a sign.
Yeah.
I think we need to limit the scope of the rockery and get an estimate of just the beautification part.
Right. We're not here to that's not, unfortunately, I mean, if that was part of our scope or part of our committee mission, that's one thing, but that's kind of not what
Right.
we're doing.
Right. our job is kind of like window boxes or like
Right.
or,
Well, you
or
know what?
curb appeal for a regular person that goes to the Home Depot and your wife tells you to get some bags of mulch and you throw them around with the rake and you water it and you throw some mums out.
Right. And
Right.
you know what? Can I share? Am I allowed to share my screen on here?
Yep.
Let me see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Because I was driving through Randolph and I saw this
Yep.
that they do. Like even something like that.
Currently adopted at Randolph Automotive Service Center. Nice.
Yep.
Right. And I was like, oh, I got to take a picture. And I never use my phone when I'm in my car. So my son's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I got to get a picture. But we were stopped. Promise you. But maybe even something like that, um, somewhere in a high traffic.
Right.
Because you could probably get one of these raised beds for $500, fill it with these, and a sign.
Yep. Well, the Garden Club ladies kind of are ambitious. This is what they do. So you
Right.
got to
And
remember
that's
that
great.
they
But we're not
right,
paying 10
right,
grand.
right.
I think it's phenomenal that they can do something like that. But that's just, we have,
Yes.
we don't have it. We don't even have a budget.
Right.
We're just filtering money, funneling it, I guess.
Right. Yep.
I think one thing we should find out is if is the town like maintaining the rockery, or like what would it take for them to do that since they should be.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Who wants to do that?
Now, to be fair to the DPW, the town of Easton has less DPW people working for it than it did in 1965. And it's got 3 times as many people and twice as many real roads when you
Right.
count all the roads. So, it's kind of,
Yeah, they got to prioritize
and the
what
school
they're
department until Prop 8, the towns all forked everything on the schools. The school
doing.
budget took care of, you know, half the fields. Any of the fields that weren't even with schools, the schools used to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
Before Prop 2.5. That's the first thing the schools did was cut all this extra stuff because it wasn't the school related.
Right.
And they cut. They immediately. I know the town I grew up in the same way. They took care of every field in the town was done by the school department and the DPW. And then as soon as Prop 2.5 came, the school department cut everything out, and then DPWs get overloaded, and then, I don't
Yeah.
know how.
No, that's not pointing. It's just that's
Right.
just so undoable with our scope that
Yeah.
we're not going to be able to do that.
Right.
So I can check and see if she'll take a second area. We can look into what I just showed you, or because it's November, so we're not going to
Right.
even really be able to do anything till spring anyway.
Right.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm coughing. I'm like the same as you.
Okay.
I'll be back in a minute. Keep talking.
Sure.
I sympathize with the coughing.
I know it just won't go away. Mine, that's the whole. Quinn's like, I don't feel sick, but I don't want to go to jujitsu because it's a bad look. Because I keep coughing. I'm like, yeah, if you're wrestling around, you probably don't want to do that.
My daughter had it really bad this past month. She's getting better now, but
yeah,
coughing
it's
like crazy.
lingering. And I took COVID test, and mine wasn't COVID, so I don't know what it was, but it's not pretty.
Yep, same here.
So, what's the rest of the? Is this the only real topic that we have tonight?
I can screen share. The numbering is messed up. I think it didn't start at 1, but that's fine. Review minutes, discuss pricing, solicitation of bids.
I don't think we can adjust any scope of certain projects because we don't have any projects. We only have the one potential project.
Right.
And we're already saying the scope of cleaning out the rockery is not part of it. And that I think would take a lot of approval to do something that massive, especially removing anything.
Yeah, I feel like we hit issues at every turn. This thing. I kind of wonder about meeting with Connor Reed and just saying, does this thing even make sense? Like, what do
I
we
mean,
need to
I
do?
like the idea of those little boxes, but I mean, what does that require? Do we have to go through the town and get approval on where we're putting them, and it can't interfere with construction or walkways or roadways or, because there's no point in putting a box on the side of the road somewhere. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I included something in the minutes for this meeting. The consider garden boxes.
Oh, yeah.
This was from last week, and I think again it was the complexity of cleaning up the rock.
Yeah,
How
that
that
was
ended up
like,
in there.
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So I mean, and then like the other issue is we can't get any landscapers.
That's true.
We spent quite a bit of time on that. Everyone is busy, and right now I'm sure they're all busy with fall cleanups.
I don't know. Tell Bill what you just proposed and see.
So Bill, I was wondering if we should meet with Connor Reed and just ask him, like, what we're hitting issues at every turn here.
Right.
Should we even continue with this?
Well, I mean, that's the issue I said about stuff getting done. I mean, if you actually look at our original list from God knows how many years ago, over half of the places have been fixed up. Torrey Park was on the list. Now it's Torrey Park. Mm-hmm. The Union Villa playground
is now the pickleball.
I saw
courts.
that today. I drove by. I saw the people playing pickleball.
Right. So I think that you got to kind of wonder. Lee Williams used to always tell me like there's more than one way to skin a cat. He would come at stuff like over the years, and he just slowly picked them off. Like he used to send me stuff like agendas from a committee was on in like 1975. And half of it, 3/4 of it was already done. But it hadn't been done the way they planned it. So I think that's what we got to kind of figure out is, are we actually getting the job done because not the way we envisioned? Is it never going to be like a big signs, a big thing? Or do we just keep listing places and leaking our lists?
I think we should visit the garden box and check with Connor, maybe do some research on what that would take. Because like I was just saying to Bill, we don't want to just stick a flower box on the side of the road somewhere. I mean, it would have to probably be where there's foot traffic or something like that. But I know that there's probably rules and regulations about where you can put something like that. What kind of approval do you need? I mean, I think that's almost our last straw here because I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind? Can you send me that photo? Just
yeah.
I can use it as
email?
a reference. Yeah, email's fine.
Hi, Megan.
Hey, Megan.
How's the game?
I made it. I lost one of my kids for a little bit that I had to, the little one that was watching with me, so I had to go track him down, but it's 0-0 still so far.
Cool.
But yeah, so far still good.
Cool.
But yeah, it looks like the costs is kind of the main thing holding back right now.
Yeah, well, Megan, just to catch you up, that's what I was like. There's no way we're going to get someone to pay that kind of money. So
yeah,
I just I was driving through Randolph, and I'll share my screen one more time for you. And saw this, and thought, okay, we could do something like that. But that's going to require us revisiting, talking to Connor or whomever we need to talk to about it and see what the actual regulations, because we're just not we can't do the Rockery. I mean, unless there's a big business out there ready to fund that, and then Bill was saying like the Lions Club, they're the ones that have always kind of decorated it and did that. So we don't want to really step on that toe either.
Touchdown, number
we
10.
don't. Oh, I was like, who's that? And so.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so now we're just gonna have to kind of rethink because, and as Bill also stated, spaces are kind of running out. The town or other people are fixing up all the public spaces that we had a list of. And so what do we do? Do we?
Yeah, so maybe just kind of like amending the scope of it to different because I know a lot of the I've seen these kind of projects in different towns, like things like adopting areas and things, and yeah, just probably have to just kind of change it up a little bit.
With the way that our scope is, the way we've marketed it, is it's more for also advertising business and not just like in memory of, like the cemetery. That's kind of out of the way, and a lot of businesses aren't going to get the attention that they might think they get with the beautification piece of it. So I think that's probably our best bet because we do keep hitting the wall. We can't find a landscaper. The garden club, they kind of have their own agenda, which isn't really aligning with our agenda. And we're running out of spaces. So we have no landscape, no spaces.
Right. I think that was the whole idea of the committee, though, is the town forked it to us because they were the same place. They don't have the time or the energy to keep track of them. But I think maybe a scope and maybe a meeting with him to get him to maybe prioritize it a bit, maybe to push, because we do get a significant amount of pushback on our places from the schools and the DPW. I know every time we put the place on, we get a kind of a pushback from, oh, the school does that or the town does that. And it's kind of like, well, realistically, like if the DPW can't do it, we need to know. But we can't play this game where every time we say we're going to do an intersection, they say, oh, no, that you can't do that because, because the garden club did 2 intersections. I mean, the one down the street by me is done. They redid the monument and they've got landscaping around it. So somebody's going to take care of it. And it's not going to be the DPW. It's not going to be the state. State's not going to come out and plant bumps.
Oh, no, the state.
So I think maybe if he puts a little bit of oomph around it and kind of tells them that, if they're not going to actually beautify it, let us do it and stop complaining.
Right.
Because there's plenty of places in town we can beautify, but if every time we mention a place, they say, oh, no, that's a school, that's the fire department, that's the DPW, then like you said, then you're left with intersections in the middle of nowhere.
And no one's going to be like, yeah, give me that space.
Right. But also they run the risk when we're not here of more pay over parks. It's part of the issue too. They didn't want that going on of people just building a park. It sounds like a great idea, but clearly it could run amok if everybody in town decided they were going to turn their corner into a memorial. I mean,
right.
I mean, it could, I grew up in a corner, my wife grew up in a corner. We got plenty of people we could turn, I got an intersection across the street from me here. I could gladly turn that into a memorial to my dad and my father-in-law and start planting crap, but I don't. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you just
because
saw that
there has to be some organization to it and guidelines and because you can plant a flower and then you win the lottery and you run to Bora Bora, then who's going to take care of it?
Right. So I think they have to decide, like the town, if they want this done, they got to kind of reverse it and put some oomph behind it and say that instead of them, wait us doing the work and then say, no, they're going to be the other way around. That if we do the work and planning, they have to kind of say a real reason why not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then the same as the Rockery. Like if we're finding it's more money, are we authorized with the town to try to get more money? If that's what we do, I'm fine. But if that's what we do, they got to let us know we're okay to do it.
Right. But it also sounds like the Rockery has other ties that would require a lot or some obstacles that we'd have to mitigate.
But if that's what we did as a committee, that would be fine.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if
that's
we
part
were,
of- if
we
that's
could
our
do,
scope,
if
then
we
that's
drew money from the garden club, from the lighting of the trees, other groups, the historical commission, we all got together. We got some money from some foundation of the town, and we fixed it up right. That's fine, but they got to tell us that.
right.
We can't get that done with
We
it. We're going to
can't
put a
just say,
sign up.
okay, let's go do it. Right.
I mean, Frank's family loves him, but they're not going to donate $30,000 to the Frank, the Frank Memorial thing and put up a little sign.
right. Right.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and there are people in this town with money. I mean, that pocket, the Frothingham one, if you saw the pavilion down there. But, the pavilion was provided by two people through the Lions Club, the Moffett family and the Lee Williams family.
And
they
that
built
is like, that's a good space to put one of those boxes, right? And probably prevent parking then, right? Then people are like, well, where do we park?
Well, it's in the middle of the, well, yeah, but everybody gets parked along the street. That's why I said,
That's what I'm saying though. But those garden boxes,
right.
you could put one along the side of it on the outside of the park.
Yep.
But that's where people park. So we
Yep.
can't do that, right?
Right.
So I think we just need to revisit this whole committee,
Right.
Connor, and see if we need to adjust.
Right. Does that make
Yeah.
sense, Frank?
What's that?
Did it make sense?
I think it makes sense. Yeah. Because I feel like otherwise a year from now we're going to be in the same position.
We're in the same. I mean, we
conversation.
had a great plan, but no landscaper and now no space.
Right.
Well, that's why kind of at one point we were trying to push people to just getting one done and a sign up, because we don't
Right.
really know how many people would do this if there's a sign up that says, so-and-so does it, landscaping by whatever, most of the times where it's successful, it becomes like a big deal and they get a lot of positive blowback that, the people who do center school, Rotary, they get a lot of positive, that landscape, because everybody who drives their kid to that school sees it.
Right.
And then
And that was the point of the Rockery, is like, that's going to be the busiest section.
Right.
So we don't want to stick it off on 106 somewhere, because
Right.
people just drive on that. They don't
Right.
walk. They don't
Right.
do. It's not a lot of traffic.
But everybody who's sitting there on that line sees the sign of who's the landscape
Right.
on. Then when you go home and your husband or wife says, "Oh, we need landscaping done," there's a good chance they're
That's
gonna.
marketing, Bill.
Right. That's what That's what Coca-Cola does. They don't even advertise their product. It's just like they want people to know there is a product called Coke.
Yeah.
I think with the new school opening, the new elementary, around there's going to be even more traffic on the roads up in that area. So
Yeah.
potential areas around there, like if we were to do those like garden boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some seats for people to sit on while they wait for their parents to pick them up.
God, don't clog up those lines anymore than they already are.
My,
They built that
my daughter's
pathway to
in
nowhere.
First, and she's at Moreau now, and she's going over to Blanche Adams or Ames, not Adams.
Yeah. Well, every kid in town will be going to basically one area. So,
Mhm.
security-wise, people love that. That's the most secure area in town.
Well, yeah, hopefully it is.
Well, we used to joke when we did the Lions auction there, we had cash, and that if anybody robbed us, they only had like 2 ways to get out, so it's not like, they really can't go anywhere, right? I mean,
And the firemen and police are across the street.
yeah. So it's like, they
So.
want to
All
get
right.
out.
Yeah, huh? So is that just kind of where we should end right now?
I think so.
And then you set that up, Frank?
Yeah, let me see if I can get a meeting with Connor and all of us.
Yeah. I don't even mind if we have to go in and have a discussion, or we can do it over Zoom. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I know for like these meetings, the town still requires it to be on Zoom, but maybe a different circumstance, we could just meet at the town hall.
Either way.
I'll reach out to him and ask him and just kind of explain.
Okay, because I don't want to keep spinning our wheels either.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
No point in meeting once a month to come up with nothing.
Right.
But I can't tell you, just for him, is that this was created to relieve a headache from them, and they're going to get pounded by people if they don't have this. You know what I mean? Because that is what was happening before, because they were just getting constantly hounded with individual requests to fix stuff up.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been on this committee for almost 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
And we're still well, let me back that up. We're in a really good place to implement something, and at least we have some really good ideas. And like you said, Bill, that was it. Like we had a client ready to try this out,
Right.
but we don't have a real good space for it, and I'm not going to sell a space just to get this going if it's not going to be beneficial
Right.
to them as well.
Right. Or if they just want to use this as a subcommittee to just keep prioritizing spaces and they'll pick them off, that's fine. But just tell us that. I mean,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
just be their filter, like I said, the same as the Rockery. If they want us to be the person that coordinates it, that's fine. We can do that. But they need to kind of tell us that. Don't, because, like I said, if that's what they want to use this for, then that's fine. Because it sounds to me like that's going to be the issue. Is the Historical Society has control of that, but they don't have a budget to fix it, so they have to ask the DPW. But the DPW's got people calling that they got, trees down on the sidewalk. They need to get the sidewalk.
We're not a priority. This is not a priority.
Right. The idea that DPW is going to go out there and spend a week ripping out invasive weeds is crazy, and they're not going to know what they are anyway. I mean,
right. Oh yeah,
sorry,
it's true.
I'm not
hiring. I work in environment. I know.
I don't think we're paying our DPW guys to know the difference between a North American mugwort and a Mexican mugwort and a
right
Norwegian mugwort.
And which one was supposed to live here?
Right. So and people keep planting crap.
So I'll reach out to Connor and set it up for, and then I don't think we even need to schedule another meeting until we can.
I agree.
I can talk to him, and then we'll schedule it around that.
Right.
So
maybe a purpose and scope meeting, we'll call it, like the purpose of the committee and the scope, and support, because the town's got to put some oomph behind it. Sorry, but
and we do at least have one person ready to go and ready to spend, $1,000 or $2,000, right? But not 10.
Right. Right. And other people are getting authority too, like the one down the end of the street by the monument, they had a person out there with a sign saying who took care of it. The one at Center School did. So somebody was doing this. So it's kind of like the town is basically supporting that, right? Because they're letting them do it. But every time we get to do it, it gets to be, oh, hold on. And I think they have to stop that. If we get approval for somebody, we need to be able to do it.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to do the intersection at 138 by the CVS, which you did before, and then they said, oh, no, you can't do it, it's the DPW. Then they said, no, it's the state. It's a state road. That has to stop, because.
Well, and that's where the boxes might just be a better.
Right. But they've got to decide what they're going to do with it. We can't just keep changing the name there.
Right.
Because we did the same with the S-curve. That's been on the list for years.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then the DPW used it to stage all the equipment for Depot Street.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so if that's being finished and they want us to coordinate with them for the S-curve to be improved, I've said for years down there should be an official sign box down there where we put signs up, and there should be regulation of how big the signs can be, and just accept the fact that signs are going to be there, and build like a.
But then that interferes too with the farmers market that they do down there. I don't know.
I'm saying by the street, like everybody puts the signs up and they say you can't, but everybody does.
Yeah.
But if we put up like a nice, an official one that had official measurements of your sign, that you're going to have 3 foot by 4 foot signs, and you get them up for a week or 5 days, I think that would help. And then we can beautify the area and put flowers down and make it look nice. Instead, now the whole thing gets trampled over, like you said, because it's technically part of the state highway and private property and the town, and
All right.
All right. You okay, Frank?
Is that kind of? Yeah, I think we have a better. I think our hands are tied until we adjust. So.
I agree. So.
Megan, how's
the motion to adjourn?
After Megan tells us how they're doing.
Yeah.
Who's winning? Oh, she's on mute.
Who's winning, Megan?
You're muted, Megan.
Still on mute.
Mansfield's up by 6. but it's
Oh,
almost
no.
halftime, so I think they can still.
They
They were
can still
undefeated all
round.
year. They were 8-0, so this is hopefully they'll keep it. They keep it going. They had a really good season,
Good.
but
Well,
it's
good luck.
yeah,
Good luck.
Mansfield's. They're up for now, but
Awesome.
hopefully they'll turn it around.
Good.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All
All
right.
right.
Bye,
All in favor, aye.
Wait to hear from you,
Aye.
Frank. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.